So here's our floodplain.
This is where water collects before going into the river.
As we come down, we can see a potential cutoff right here.
This is a point where water flows quickly instead of going through a meander.
On the edges of the cut bank,
The outside bank of a river which is under constant erosion.
there's landslides,
It happens when the outer banks of the river erode and heavy sediment is no longer supported and therefore falls.
and the point bar is collecting sediment.
This was formed by accretion on the inner side of the expanding loop of our river.
There's deposition.
Erosion is on the outside of a river where large sediment is worn down. Deposition is on the inside of the river where sediment builds up.
We can see a cutoff happening right here.
This happens when water breaches through the two closest parts of the meander to form a new channel.
The velocity on the outside of the curve is greater than the inside.
This is formed in a curve, and the velocity on the outside of the curve is greater than on the inside.
And yeah, cut bank is formed. And our meander also had a cut bank. Which I'm going to say.
A meander is cut off and no more water flows into the curve.
Right here, or an abandoned channel.
This is formed when outer banks erode and inner banks deposit silt, so a curve is created.
It's deeper in the straightaways because there's a greater velocity.
A triangular wall of sediment that builds up at the mouth of a river where all the large sediment is carried. This mass of sediment has erosion and deposition occur around it, which causes it to build up even more.
Deeper. We can see the larger rocks getting deposited.
When the river gets out of its bank, it floods land on either side and creates a large opening of water with lots of deposited sediment.
First in the finer, and then slow it down.
Erosion causes the banks to be wide and steep. After erosion and deposition, a river forms a wide straight channel that is deep in the middle due to velocity difference. In a young river, the water flows down a steep gradient. The channel is deeper than it is wide and V-shaped. The river is V-shaped due to down-cutting erosion. Its velocity is fast and strong, allowing the water to pull. There are no grassy areas beside the river. Rapids are present in a young river because it contains boulders in the channel. An example is the Colorado River. In a mature river, the water flows down a moderate slope. It is slower than a young river, but faster than an old one. This channel is U-shaped and wider than a young river. It also has both down-cutting and lateral erosion, which gives this channel a broader and gentler slope. A floodplain may exist along with a grassy area. Meanders may be present, but not as curvy as the ones in an old river. This river can carry more because it has greater volume. An example is the Missouri Bind. In an old river, the water flows down a shallow gradient. The channel is wider than it is deep and U-shaped due to its lateral erosion. The velocity is quite slow. A wide floodplain characterizes an old river. The river has a lot of curvy meanders. An example is the Mississippi River.